Is right now a good time to actually buy a property? Is the housing market going to crash? Are interest rates going down anytime soon? Is buying a property in today's market something that you're going to regret down the line? Or is it something that is actually going to be beneficial for you? Do you have a game plan or a strategy in place so you can actually navigate the market so you can increase your chances of being successful? I'm going to address all those questions, so stay tuned for the video. Let's go. Hello everyone, my name is Cristian Valderrama. My mission is to keep you educated and informed about the real estate market and economy as a whole. And I've been a realtor here in Florida for a couple of years now. I love it, it's completely my passion. This is something that I definitely want to dedicate my whole life to. And I hope I can bring you some value and education to you guys. So let's actually open up the table for discussion by just saying that there is no such a thing as the perfect market for me to buy a home. If you're one of those people that think I'm going to wait until the interest rates are low and at the same time I'll be able to negotiate a deal, and at the same time I'll be able to have a lot of inventory, and at the same time I might be able to ask the seller to fix all the house, at the same time I'll be able to ask the seller for seller's concession, which means that they will actually pay part of your closing cost. Let me tell you, you're living in Wonderland. That does not happen. And if you're waiting for that, you may as well just never buy a property, because you'll be waiting too long for that to happen. That's never the case. So we actually need to understand that every single market has advantages and has disadvantages. And it's more about actually strategizing between the two to actually come up with a game plan that is actually going to work out for you. Every market is going to present opportunities and every market is going to present disadvantages. So with that being said, let's try to understand what type of markets are there, what type of market are we in right now, and what type of market can we actually look into the future. So mainly there are three types of markets in real estate. There is either a seller's market, either a neutral market, or there is a buyer's market. So really what is going to determine what type of market are we in is who has the more power when it comes to negotiating a deal. If the seller happens to have more power, that means that we are talking about a seller's market. If both of the parties have equal power when it comes to negotiating the deal, that means that we're talking about a neutral market. And if the actual buyer has more power on the negotiation, that means that we're talking about a buyer's market. So very important. So the next question, of course, will be, what are the causes that make a seller's market or a buyer's market? What causes a seller to actually have more power than the buyer? Or what causes a buyer to have more power? Well, the answer is simple, is demand. Demand is the answer to that question. So let's say that you're selling your house. Let's say you start selling your house today. Let's say that in a week, you are able to get 15 offers. That means 15 people just knocking on your door saying, hey, I want to buy your house. Hey, here's a pre-approval. I'm pre-approved for this amount. Let me buy your house. Hey, here's a banking statement showing my proof of funds. I want to buy your house cash. Hey, here's another pre-approval. 15 of those people just trying to buy your house. Guess what? They are going to be competing and you are going to be dictating the terms. If you say, hey, I want to stay 2 months after closing on my house, guess what? Those 15 people will do everything they can so they can accommodate you because they want your house and they need your house. Let's say that one of them offers $15,000 over asking price, and that's the one that actually is offering the most, and you're looking into money, that will be the winner. So, they actually get your house. So the seller has more power in that sense. Now let's flip the tables. Let's say now that you're selling your house and it's been 4 months, and in 4 months you have not get one single offer. And in 4 months you are really needing to sell your house because you need the money to pay X, Y, and Z because lives happen, and nobody has offered anything in your house. After 4 months, if a buyer comes to you and say, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm going to buy your house for $10,000 below asking price. Guess what? You will be thinking, I need to take this opportunity because it's been 4 months and I'm not gonna let it pass. What happens if I deny it? I'm gonna be waiting maybe another 4 months and somebody else is gonna come. And what happens if they offer 20,000 below? This is something that I need to take advantage of right now, so let's get it. So in that sense, the buyer has more power on the negotiation. So the buyer is going to be dictating, hey, I want an inspection, full inspection. I need the house to be perfect. I need it painted. I need a $10,000 discount. The seller will say, yes, sir. let's do it, you know? So the buyer has more power. So in that sense, that's how the actual market fluctuates. Now, we can go deeper. What causes to be a high demand and what causes to not be demand? And that is a deeper question, and it really depends on mainly one factor. And it does have a lot of things, you know, to come into consideration in this one. Maybe I'll do another video just explaining what causes demand to go high and low, but let's keep it simple for now. It is interest rates. When the interest rates are low, a lot of people just happen to jump the fence. A lot of people happen to just, let's grab this house because it's a good deal, because now my monthly payment is lower. Now I can afford more house. Now it is the time to buy, right? But when interest rates happen to go back up, that means that a lot of people are actually going back to the fence. There is a lot of people that are not willing to buy a house anymore. That means that there is people that don't think it's a good deal. Monthly payment is gonna be higher. So a lot of people just start backing out and actual buyers start to be decreased. There is not gonna be a lot of buyers in that. So just for you to know. So what type of market are we experiencing today, right now? So we are right now transitioning from a seller's market. We had one of the strongest seller's market we have had in near history, super strong, to a buyer's market. Today, right now, as we speak, November 2022, we are experiencing somewhat of a buyer's market. It's not the craziest buyer's market, but they do have more power in the negotiation as we speak. Right now, builders are giving crazy incentives. Builders, if you're trying to buy a new home, they are giving closing costs paid off, they are giving interest rates buy downs, they are giving decreasing the price of the house, all kinds of things. If you're buying a house right now and you try to get a used home, same deal. Sellers are paying for seller's concession. That means that the seller is going to pay for your closing costs. They are reducing prices. And that's due being there not very many buyers. There is not very many. Now, here's the thing. If you're a buyer right now, yes, you have a lot of opportunities. You have the power. They are gonna be craving your business. You are gonna be able to maybe reduce some prices. They are gonna pay for part of your closing cost. But guess what? You remember at the beginning I said there is advantages and disadvantages to every market. Every time there is not very many buyers, that means that maybe the interest rates are high. So you're gonna have to pay a higher interest rate. You know, it's a little bit of counterintuitive, but once the interest rates are low, you're gonna pay it on the price of the house because you're gonna be competing with other people. You're gonna be able to get that interest rate to be reduced, but you're gonna be competing with a lot of people. You're gonna pay it on the actual price of the house. When the interest rates are high, you're not going to be competing with anybody, but you're actually going to be paying a higher interest rate and maybe decreasing the price of the house itself. So it's more about where you want to do it, because at the end of the day, you have to pick and choose. There is not going to be, like I said, a perfect market for you to just jump in and say there is a low interest rate and no competition. That doesn't exist. That if there is interest rates that are low, trust me, there is a lot of people that are going to buy. If the interest rates are high, trust me, there is a lot of people that are backing out. But maybe that's the time because nobody is actually trying to buy, you know? So it's about deciding, are you gonna pay it on the price of the house or are you gonna pay it on the interest rate? What will be the best strategy for you? What will you pick, you know? Which one will be the one that you actually choose? Pay it on the price because you're competing with so many people and you have to offer $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over asking to get the house and get a low interest rate? Or are you gonna pick having a higher interest rate but maybe be able to reduce the price? Which one will you pick? Let me know if you can, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion. What is my opinion? My personal opinion, you know? It really depends. It really depends on the market. It really depends on the city. It really depends on where I'm actually trying to invest. But I will tell you my personal opinion. I prefer to choose the one that I will be able to fix later down the line. So if you tell me, hey Chris, you know, let's try to buy a house, what will you do? I'll tell you, maybe I'll buy it right now. To be honest, there is not a perfect time to actually do it. If I can afford it, any house, as far as my own house or maybe an investment, trust me, I believe so much in real estate that I'm just going to do it, no matter what the state of the market is. even if it's a seller's buyer's market, real estate is such a solid investment in my mind that I'm just gonna do it. But if I have to pick and choose, here's my opinion. I will actually try to do it in the one that I can fix. How so? The actual price of the house, once I pay it, that's it. If I overpay for a house, I'm done. I overpay for that house, I'm stuck with the mortgage. I have to pull through no matter what. So if I happen to pay $50,000 on a house, it's not like I can ask later down the line to the bank, hey, reduce my debt. No, you're stuck. That's it. You're done. And most likely, if I have a low interest rate, that means that's it. That's the deal I got. That's it. If I happen to buy a house at a reduced price and have a high interest rate, guess what? I can always refinance that. I can always refinance it. So if I can always refinance that, at some point for the life of the loan, I will be able to have both of the best worlds. I will be able to have a reduced price and I will be able to actually reduce my interest rate. Because guess what? In worst case scenario, 3, 4, 5 years, let's say the worst case scenario, 6 years, interest rates happen to go down low for 6 years. In 6 years, I will refinance that house. Whatever I pay for the house, it stays the same. I already earned some equity there and I will be able to have a low interest rate and a low payment because I, decrease the actual price of the house. The life of a mortgage is about 30 years. It's about 30 years. If you overpaid because you had interest rate for the first 6, worst case scenario, 7, worst case scenario, right? For 7 years, I overpaid with a high interest rate. Yes, but guess what? For the next 20 or so, I will be able to have best of both worlds. So, in my opinion, that's something to really take advantage of. Now, some people say, yes, but if you're doing that, that means that you just came of a seller's market, that all the prices have increased so much that you're overpaying already for that house, no matter what discount they give you. That's correct. That's also correct. The thing is that I believe so much in real estate that I do think that it's always gonna continue to go high. So I don't think that it's actually completely going to crash. I do believe so much in real estate that no matter what, somebody's gonna need a house to live. Somebody's going to need that house. It's something solid. It's an asset. It's something that I can actually, touch. And most likely, it has never been the case that it completely dies down to stay down. It always bounces back. It always goes back up. So that's my belief. So that right there should answer the question of, is the housing market going to collapse? Well, the market is always up and down and it's always fluctuating. It's never stationary. But it doesn't mean that it's going to crash to stay down. That's never the case, like I said before. What happened in 2007, 2008? It went back up. What happened in the Great Depression? It went back up. What happened in every single time that the market just collapses completely? If it happens to collapse that bad, we never know. Prices may go down. Is there going to be a crash? Some people are completely saying yes, they're just waiting, saving some money and just waiting for that opportunity. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity if that happens, let me tell you, so be prepared. But is it going to happen? I don't believe so. I believe the demand is gonna be higher still. There is a lot of investors, there is a lot of people that are actually in the market as far as, taking opportunities. So I don't think it's going to be collapsing completely. But let's actually address the questions that we said earlier in the beginning. So is today a good market to buy? So if you happen to buy today, let's say you happen to close a home tomorrow, is that something that is going to be beneficial for you, or is that something that you're maybe going to regret down the line? So that's a great question, and let me start by saying that it really depends on the type of property. So for example, if you happen to buy an investment property right now, today, and you are closing tomorrow on an investment property, it depends. If you bought it in a really good location, let me tell you, you're not going to lose. So if you bought an investment property close to a lot of jobs, close to economics, close to university that needs a lot of housing, close to nightlife, close to vacation rentals, close to entertainment, close to the beach, let me tell you, you're not going to lose. Reason being is because those places are going to be in high demand of a piece of real estate. It could be an office, it could be a house, it could be an Airbnb, it could be a rental house. Whatever piece of real estate you're buying in one of these locations, you're not going to lose. It's going to be a great investment. Now, you could earn less money during that investment, but it's always gonna yield something. Even if it doesn't pay for itself, even if rent doesn't actually pay for yourself and you have to come out of pocket, guess what? You're building equity. You are building equity. So, I mean, there could be a case, yes, that the actual price decrease and you are actually, that the price is gonna be decreased and the actual debt is higher than the actual price and you will be underwater. That could happen too. But if you happen to be strong and actually keep paying that and actually just navigate, because it's always gonna bounce back, and you don't feel and you're not actually forced to sell, you're always going to win, my friend. So hang tight if that's the case. If you want to buy a residential home, let's say you want to get out of rent, you're tired of renting and just giving away the money to a landlord, and you actually want to start building your own, is this a good time to buy? Well, first of all, let's start by saying that completely utilize the power that you have right now. You as a buyer, you can actually negotiate the deal, you can ask for closing costs, you can reduce the price of the home, you can ask the seller to fix this or that, or the builder to actually give you a discount. So there is tons of ways to actually do it. And the best way to find out what kind of deals you can get is to get a good realtor. Somebody that knows the area, somebody that is actually on top of the deals that are happening. If you happen to get a realtor that is not aware of all these things, you're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out on huge opportunities. So get somebody that is actually educated and know what they're talking about. That's the very first thing. Second thing, you don't want to be completely capped out on your budget. You don't want to be completely just scrapping pennies every single month to actually pay your mortgage. Make sure that you have enough cushion to actually be able to be comfortable. So if something happens with your job, because God forbid, in this recession that could come a little harder, which is the reality, it could come. What happens if you get laid off of your job? That's something that you gotta think about. Have some savings. Think about that, because if you happen to be completely underwater and you're not able to actually make the payments for your home because the recession is gonna hit hard, then that's something that you gotta take into consideration. Like I said, advantages, disadvantages. You can use the advantages of today's market. Completely go for it. But if you happen to be not in a completely stable position right now, maybe it is not the time. Maybe it's time to actually save up and wait maybe 6 months or a year to actually buy your home and be a little bit more stable. But if you know that you're stable in your job and you know that it's going to continue and your budget is completely comfortable, then by all means take care of today's market, because the opportunities are huge, and get somebody that can help you, find those opportunities, and a good realtor that is educated. Are interest rates gonna go down anytime soon? And that's a good question, and it doesn't only depend on real estate. That's pretty much economics as a whole. That's not gonna be dictated only by the demand of the housing market. That's gonna be dictated mainly by inflation. So if a lot of people have more availability to actually pay for stuff, in other words, debt, if they can actually get debt easier, that means that they are gonna spend more. And when they spend more, prices of things happen to rise. Now, the central bank, the Federal Reserve, is trying to stop that as of right now. We just came from a high inflation year, and they are trying to actually stop that. So the only way that they can fight that, for people not to get as easy on loans, that means that they have to increase the interest rates. If interest rates are high, a lot of people are not going to spend. So that means that the inflation is not gonna be as high. So by that, we can say that, in my opinion, it's not gonna go down anytime soon. That's just my opinion. Interest rates are going to keep stable, maybe, going up and down, but I don't think they are going to collapse completely, because inflation is actually high as of right now, as we speak. So whenever inflation is going to start to maybe decrease or maybe stabilize a little, that's when we see the central bank actually, decreasing interest rates so just so they can promote a little bit of more spending, that which is good for the economy as a whole. But as of right now, inflation is going to stop interest rates to actually be decreased. That's my opinion. I hope this video actually gives you a little bit of clarity about real estate, about the state of the market right now, about how you can use it to your leverage, and come up with a strategy. My strategy right now as we speak is buying a house next year, investment house, and then later down the line refinance that house, have the best of the both worlds, a low price and then a low interest rate. That's my intake. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let's see you on the next one. Bye bye.